Hi guys, my name is Mo and welcome to my review of Pinterest, especially how you can use Pinterest to grow your podcast as a podcaster. Like I said, my name is More Sibyl and I describe myself as a Nigerian-born, US educated, Korean speaking, wandering intellectual. And like most of you, before I started using Pinterest for my podcast, which was like 2 weeks ago, I just, turned my nose down on it, because I thought it was just for one of those websites for prissy pantsy people that I could never be. So those that wanted to tag recipes and, decorate stuff and, put out fine linen. I mean, I'm not that fancy. So I didn't even think about the utility of Pinterest for podcasting until one of my podcast friends mentioned how she was getting a lot of traffic on her website due to Pinterest, because she could look at her Google Analytics to let her know where the traffic was coming from, and a lot of them was coming from Pinterest. And I'm like, Pinterest for podcast? She's like, yeah. So I paid for her class, which hey, someone's got to hustle, right? And so what I'm sharing with you is a mixture of what I learned from her class and also from my own personal experience with Pinterest. Like I said, I just started pinning stuff 2 weeks ago, but I have been on Pinterest since I think 2011, but I hardly used it, or whenever, I don't remember, 2012, but around that time. And I'll show you just exactly, how Pinterest has helped me. If you like this, don't forget to let me know. You can also check out my website, which is right here, www.moresybil.com. I'm also on Facebook at that name, Instagram at More and then Twitter at More MOSIBYL. So let's get started. So this is my Pinterest page. You can follow me. I am not an expert on all things Pinterest, but I'm learning. And so if you have any questions, let me know. I'm willing to learn with you and you can grow together. So here was my personal profile. As you can see, it's I don't know how I still have this. I hardly did anything on it. I don't even know why I opened it. And I have 64 followers there and 43 that I follow. I was just all over the place. And most of the things I pinned were not even the ones I put on myself. They're from liking other people's pins, or just I did this recently, but everything else was just things I found on the internet, and I have no idea how they even came about. For notifications. Oh, never mind. So, um, for those that are podcasters that are listening to this, if you want to, you know, get more out of Pinterest, I suggest switching your personal account to a business one. And here's the difference. As you can see, this logo here, there's nothing else. I don't have analytics. There's no way to even know how my pins are doing. So what I had to do was to switch to my business account, and it's free to do that. As a matter of fact, you can just click on add accounts, and that's gonna convert your personal one to a business account. So this is my business. From the bat, you have to describe yourself. So let's go to my profile. Um, so my name, put a picture. Usually they say it's nice to put a picture. You can put your location. Your website is here. And you're supposed to actually verify your website. I haven't gone through that process yet. I did one time and I received an error from Pinterest, so I'm going to just do with that later. But your name, put what you do, podcaster, and the name of your podcast, because that's going to help you be more searchable. And a little bit of description of who I am. I'm podcaster at this place. I'm a PhD. I'm a professor. I'm not a PhD. I'm a PhD. I'm a professor of pharmacy. Born in Nigeria, educated in the US, speaks Korean, an intellectual who's wandering, and a cultural nomad. So, just a little bit about me. And this is a carousel. And don't worry about this. This is actually generated by Pinterest based on your recent pins, like things you just pinned. Now I'm talking about pins. What do those mean? What do those mean? So the way we have tweets as the unit of communication in Twitter, and post for Instagram and whatnot. Pins are just the unit of communication in Pinterest, and an aggregate of pins are called a board. So just imagine like a vision board and things you're pinning on there. All those things you pin on there make one board. So it's just the way it is now. So you see birds here, you see pins here. Now, I wanted to make this very meaningful, so it took me almost a whole day on a weekend. I had to start pinning all of my past episodes, like episodes I had, put on my website. I started pinning them. So let's go to my pins, and I'll come back to the birds one more time. So I had to go to my website and downloaded, and you don't even have to download. You can actually, so let's, for example, this is my website. I can take a picture. Hurry up, hurry up. Okay, so say this picture, for example. And this is my educational scholarship, by the way. Usually there's a logo that comes out here, that Pinterest and all that. But like that. So see that? That's save. You see there? And that links it directly to your stuff. So there are many ways to actually pin stuff on Pinterest. You can take any picture source. I have done most of these ones. Let's see the ones I haven't done ever. Let me go all the way down, because I don't want to do duplicate pins. Sorry for this process, but now you get to my website. So okay, I haven't done this one, so I'll go back. Should have showed. So where are you? Okay, so save. I'm saving this pin. I click on that, and so these are the boards I had created before, and you want to move them to just the ones that really matter. So I'm gonna put it on the podcast because it's related to my podcast. And once you do that, you also have the option to create. But so I click on see now, and it opens another tab for me. And so this is the website. It's gonna go to that website, but I could have it edited because I don't want it going to my website. I want it to go to where I host my podcast on. So I'm gonna edit that, and I'll go on, which is my host for my website, for my podcast, and wherever you want to send your pin to. Because so things, in addition to them being the unit of communication place, but so I'm just copying some of the description. Now this description, I don't want to put a lot there because it says saying I already put a lot there. Okay, and I'm gonna delete the title because that's just too much. Still a lot. Alright, so I save. And that's how you make a pin. Now it's changed to Anchor, and I click on save, and it's gonna be shared. So if I go back to my profile and look at my pins, it's gonna be there. And it's giving me the option to promote it. No, I don't want to promote it. Now birds, like I said, are aggregates of pins, and I have a lot of oh no, I need to allow pop-ups because they're on a switch. Yeah, so I have 8 boards. I did the More Sibyl Podcast, which is my podcast, Wanderlust at Trips, mental health, Korean learning because I speak Korean, endometriosis, which I have, and then my blogs. So even all of my, let's take for example my blogs, all of my articles from Medium, from Substack, I tagged them on here. I created pins of them, and I tagged them on there so that people can go read stuff. And yeah, so that's just. And then when you see more ideas, it's just basically things that are related to your pin that interest is just showing you. So I mean, talking about endometriosis, that's kind of close, even though this is not peculiar to me, but at least it's showing you some options. And so the things you like, you can even maybe save them. So the idea is also to save other post pins, because by saving the popular ones, your own profile gets more. It's kind of being bumped up. It sounds a little bit incestuous, but you get what I mean. And so this is my podcast. This has the most number of pins that I have done so far, and it was just to do all of that. Now I'm going to show you also another thing that another way to pin stuff. So in addition to videos, in addition to pictures, you can also do videos. So I'm going to create a pin, and this time around, rather than use stuff, I'm going to do an like a video, like a short, an animation, so that way you can at least have an idea. So I'm going to Canva right now to and I actually have it downloaded, but I'll just do Canva just in case. And this way I can show you how to tag your stuff. So let's download that. This was my latest Facebook Live. Sorry, I'm rambling. Almost past my bedtime. Okay, so I'm gonna download that and then come back to that. While downloading, it's very important for you to really tie Pinterest to something else, so that way you can see how exactly it's working. Because, like I said, think of Pinterest like a messenger, and it's a tool you can also use to measure the growth of your podcast. And I'll show you how I have an external anchor to be sure that, okay, is this really for real? I mean, can I really tie Pinterest to actual changes in my listenership or whatever your outcome can be? And I do have just the right amount of proof for that for you guys. So that has been downloaded. Let's go back to the Pinterest spread. So you just drag that, you put that on there, and while it's still trying to load that, you can add the title. And I've saved this a while ago, so I'm just gonna put that there. Wait, why isn't it copying? Let's go back. Yeah, so I'm adding the title there. So this is my friend's story that I shared some days ago on her divorce, and tell us what that is about. But before I do that, I could do that right away so that you can see. I already had just copied and pasted somewhere, so I'm just gonna put it here. You can make up stuff, but don't put too much. I just so during her time on the show on we talked past tense and the many impacts it had on her, and more of that. And there you go. And then tags down. This is where it gets murky. And this is also one of the reasons I don't like Pinterest. So you know how on Instagram or on Twitter you can generate hashtags to drive traffic to your post? Here, forget about being generic. You have to use the tags that they have. So this is a nasty subject about divorce, right? I click on divorce and it's telling me relationship advice. I'm like, no, well, it's kind of related to it, but it's not all about that. How about heartbreak? Guess what? Heartbreak quotes. And I'm like, no, it's not quote, but I'm doing that. Married advice. So you can see that it's just, I don't know, it forces you to do stuff. So you can do post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever I think is related to your stuff. Just use those tags. You cannot, like, for example, if I want to say sad marriage, like, it's gonna tell me they don't match the query, like, right there. So that's that. So you have to start thinking. But as always, never forget to put podcast, because that's going to help you to kind of, get bumped up. Nigeria, of course, because, Nigerian wedding and recipes is that all we know for on Pinterest. What in the world? Anyways, so this is the YouTube video that I did with Maureen through Zoom. So, as you see, I'm doing the hippo dance while we're talking, and that's my friend Maureen. So I'm gonna copy that link. Okay. And I'm gonna take it back to Pinterest, because that's how I'm gonna tag the pin, so that once I click on the pin, it redirects them to my website. And that's that. You can also change the cover image, and once you're done, because I have created a lot of words, you can choose what you want to put there. I am gonna put this under my stuff, and I click publish, and that's it. And that's how you create stuff. Now let me show you guys, let me let you in on something really cool. So I've talked about just how Pinterest is helping me grow my website, but what does that mean? So let's go to overview of my analytics, and you just get to see. So precisely when I started Pinterest was November 30th, less than 2 weeks ago. And before then, I really didn't care much about what it did or what it was about. But you can see that within 10 days, because I'm constantly pinning, I've had this many impressions and this many audience. But what you really want to grow is your engagement, because this is kind of good, but I'm not like, all like, oh my gosh, it's all kind of good. But so like I was saying, this is all kind of good, but you need to understand what it means. You actually want to increase this number. The hope is that this proportion here will be as good as that. So while I'm glad that I have made this kind of impression, I actually want to have engagement, because that's what moves people to action. But it's a good way to start. Now, I remember I said I started November 30th. As you can see, this was nothing. The first time I pinned, that was that Saturday. I had, just 53 impressions. But look at that, from 285 to like 15,000. And so the data nerd in me was like, what the heck is going on? This is too much. It's growing too fast, too soon. I'm kind of comfortable with this, because I think this is quite good for a newbie. I don't want to get too, excited and carried away. But it also tells you the impressions, like the ones that have gotten enough impressions. So see, it saves the clicks, the engagement, the close-ups. Close-ups are the ones that kind of like, at least looked at it close-up, without having to click on the link. And so the total impressions, it breaks it down to videos that are already doing well. And that can also give you an idea of who your audience, is. So this is my anchor. And I mean, I was getting some decent plays, like see here, but look at that. Sometime between November and that, I went to that, number of that. So, I mean, this graph speaks for itself. I showed you what happened on Pinterest, the back end. I'm showing you my anchor page as well. So that way you can like mirror what's going on. And that way you can also do that is Google Analytics on your website. Now, because I haven't linked my website today, I cannot show you that. But if you had Google Analytics, if you had verified your website through Pinterest, you can be able to see just how Pinterest is also helping drive traffic to your website or to your Facebook. And there are many ways you can also use the pins I was talking about. So let's go back to here. So my pins, I have sent people to not just Facebook or things like that. I've sent them to my blog. So this is my blog, my Substack. This is Substack as well. Oh, actually, these are all Substack. It should be Instagram. But that's just shows you that you can use Pinterest for anything. So the URL is what really takes the cake, and you want to be able to use that to grow your business, your podcast, and try to pin every day as you can. But I don't just pin because I want to pin. I don't do it every day now, but when I started, I was, kind of obsessed about it, and I kept, going on and on. But now I think I've reached a point where I'll just keep pinning my episodes and whatever else I find. Another thing I want to do is also to pin other people's posts. Like I said, don't forget to do that, because if you search for, say for example, podcast, and when a little bit of that, so your name had better be the first one coming up, because it shows that, and the more you keep tagging yourself as podcast, you're gonna keep getting bumped up to the ladder. So let's say podcast for women. Let's just play that gender card here, and I go on here. These are the top ones. I can also just save that into mine, and that's also gonna help me to be noticed, because addictive podcast, like, they're not dangerous. All right. Anyway, so that's that. I think I've covered most of the basics. So if you have any questions or things like that, don't forget to check me out. And I hope you enjoy Pinterest. And I guess talk to you guys later or whenever. All right. Bye.